So finally we have the 77 player pick. It has been far too many weeks to not have this, and I thought, you know what, before we go into how to grind these, what's the best way, are they even worth it? So we built 11. I think that's a pretty good sample size, just a small one to be able to say the least. Let's get the one out of its way. Already owned Central, 82s. Okay, we don't judge on the first one, but it's not a great starting point. It goes to the front anyway, I didn't realise that. Next up is another 82. This was going to be a slight worry from a lot of these, to be honest. Hopefully we can at least get some fodder. That's kind of the hardest thing at this point, is getting them 85 and above players just seems to be impossible on a consistent basis as well. I can imagine we're probably going to hit around that same sort of vibe, to be honest, where it's going to be a lot of 84s, 88s, which is nice, 84s, maybe even the 83s, but it's always that high-end fodder that really struggles. We get another 84, so, I mean, it's not the worst. Now, we will go over the SBC as well. I've got to remember that I do have players in the club already, so even if they're already owned, it doesn't necessarily mean they're terrible. Few 84s here. We've managed to get, what, 188 out of 11 if we don't get one in this last one. Oh, is it glitched? Oh. What? I mean, did I pick two of him? Oh, okay. I was going to say... Ah, brilliant. Might as well have just stayed as Diaz. So, in terms of that, couple of 84s, 88.
If you need coins in FC25, lootbar.gg has you covered. They are the cheapest trading platform on the game, 8 to 10% cheaper than any others, 8% off if you use the code JT11 at the end at checkout, plus you get 5% extra on coins, with the fastest delivery system going, used by many FC25 creators such as Zorky, Manny Plus, and even pro owners. So if you need any coins, head over to lootbar.gg, make sure JT11's in the promo code, and hopefully you enjoy.
It's not the worst in the world. Now, we still do have the crafting as well. That's going to be something you could feed into it. If obviously you wanted to do the crafting upgrade to be able to then put it into there, it's a possibility. Now, with obviously this, you've got to have 3 rares and then the rest have got to be gold. So looking at that, you've got to have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 4 of the commons, 3 of the rare. Now, if you are looking to do this really quickly as well, so what I would do is set up your parameters for this. So for instance, when I go into the squad builder, go into gold, I'll then go into all storage and obviously your club. Ignore the positions low to high. This is mainly to get all of the bulk commons out of the way as well. You've clicked that one on first, then you've kind of put in your rares, you completed the SBC. Then when you go back into it, go into the SBC rather than going into squad builder. Put your rares in, so if I'm taking them from the club, for instance, go onto here, put the rares in, and then once you're from here, we can then squad build, and it will stay the same parameters, just to show you that it does work. So for instance, that's going to work like that. Then what I do, I go back out of here to save it if I want to keep doing the same SBC. I then go into my favorites, doesn't matter where it is, click start from scratch. I then go ahead and do the gold, do there, and to be fair, I need to put rare. Then I'd go Diaz, because obviously we need to put him in. We'll go with them 3. And then when I go to squad builder, they should be the exact same parameters. And normally if you squad builder instead of start from scratch, it makes you do it again. Just so you know, there's a quicker way of doing it. So it's just easier that way. So you can do it that way if you really wanted to. It is just nice and quick. We get an extra 2 picks from it as well, just from that explanation. And we do get an 88 Diaz from it, which is going to be perfect. And we also get an 82 standard. So it's definitely, it's probably on that same sort of wavelength of kind of the other upgrades, but there might be just that little bit better odds. I think I've done 10 to 15 upgrades on most weeks, and I very rarely get a walkout. So these are going to be like hotcakes at the moment, because player picks have always been a decent thing in the game. Now, the way to grind them, like I say, there's 3 rares that you need. The rest are going to be common. So you gotta figure out a plan. Now we already know when you go into the upgrades and you look at the premium upgrade, it's an interesting way of doing it because obviously the Lib and Sud is very hard to do. Like it's very expensive and it will be still a very, very slow way to be able to grind the game. So if we kind of have a look and just see if an updated price from this, if we go into the upgrades and we go to premium, it's still, so it's coming in at 14,000. To be honest, it's probably a little bit lower now compared to what it was. I'm pretty sure it's on the 25,000, which is still probably the best free way that you could do it. By grinding out all of these on the channel, I've got a full video dedicated to it. I'll try and leave it into the description or pin it in a comment. It's just the easiest way to explain rather than going fully in depth with everything. But you basically just as a recap of what you do to be able to keep this grind going, you sell anything that's tradable. That's kind of the number one rule in any FIFA game now. Now we're transitioning to be able to have as many untradeable packs as possible and very little tradable. You need to sell as much tradable stuff as you personally can, and then all of the other untradeable, that's where you disperse it into the different SBCs. Whether it goes back into this to keep it going round, and then any of the other off leagues, non-major leagues, all go into whatever upgrade you're doing. For instance, if you wanted it to go into the crafting, that can then obviously go into the 77 player pick. So obviously with this, you only need gold commons, which is absolutely perfect. So you could just go ahead and do your gold commons in this. Should be pretty much all gold commons now. And you basically use all the rewards, everything from there, to go into the free rare slot of the 77 player pick. Now obviously there's only 100. I mean, that's still a pretty hefty amount to be honest, but there's 100 of them that you can do, plus the objective rewards that you can get. It's a very easy grind to be able to then get the rares to put it back in. That's one way of doing it. You obviously can use the gold upgrade method, which is as slow as humanly possible. It's why I personally would go for more the premium mixed league upgrade. But the basic way that you'd obviously go from bronze packs to bronze upgrade to silver upgrade, which would give you free commons. You could then either take at least one of them and put them into the gold upgrades, but I would prefer to go from the silver upgrade into the Centurion's crafting and then into the 77 player pick. Now the problem with that is it's immensely slow. It's not a quick way whatsoever. It's the quickest free way that you can go in terms of making serious money as well, but it is boring. Like it is tediously boring to do. So I would always recommend going for the premium mixed league upgrade, being able to potentially pack something from the prime gold, from obviously the jumbo gold, the small prime and the small rare and prime electrum, and then being able to move it into an upgrade, even if you wanted to take the commons and just put it into the crafting and then moving over the rares to there. That is more than possible as well. It's going to be the easiest grind that you can do for that, and then basic ways of making money, BPM, doing your rival rewards, and just replenishing the coins. If you get something tradable that is worth a lot of money, then obviously perfect. It's paid for the ways round. I've managed to get icons in previous years from just them two left sides alone. So there is ways to be able to do it. Now in terms of what you can use if you're using the league upgrade method, you want to be utilizing players from, if you're not doing the normal mixed as well, the Portuguese league, any of the female leagues, Greece, USA, so MLS. You've got a bit further down with Belgium, Saudi, Ukraine. You could then go for Turkey. Turkey's another one. Basically, the ones that the ones that you are going to be using in the Premium League upgrades, Ligue 1, Eredivisie, but you could put in a few golds because you'd be using bronzes as many times as possible. Serie A, Bundesliga, Prem, Lib and Sud, and then also the Prem and La Liga, I suppose. They're going to be the ones that you want to keep away from to be able to then just put them all into the Premium League upgrade, and then everybody else goes into either the 77 player pick or the Centurion's crafting, and vice versa. You could put whatever into the others. Then obviously with the duplicates, you can obviously then go ahead and recycle them back into what upgrades needed. it's going to be the best method that you've got at the moment. It seems to be a pretty good way to get some decent fodder this time around. So I would definitely be looking at that, and then just doing whatever objectives in game modes you can to be able to then get more fodder to put back in the club. It's going to be the easiest way. Let me know down below if you've managed to get anything good from them. 288s, a few 84s, some 82s, and then maybe a couple of low sub 80s. I'd say it's a pretty good bet. And it's only 8 players. Take care. Peace.